It was back in 2023 that the world first heard the term Diddy freak-offs from a lawsuit that Cassie filed. Cassie accused Diddy of forcing her to participate in these freak-off parties where she was forced to hook up with male escorts while Diddy watched it all go down. At first, the world refused to believe it, calling Cassie a liar who just wanted money from Diddy. But people started looking at her differently when the very next day, Diddy settled with Cassie for millions of dollars. This seemed to prove that she wasn't lying about these wild freak-off parties, especially after months later, security footage of one of the hotels where the freak-offs were held that leaked, showing Cassie trying to escape a Diddy freak-off session and being stopped by Diddy. This is when it became clear to the world that who they thought Diddy was isn't who he really is behind the scenes. Even with this information out there, no one knew exactly what these freak-out parties were. They could only imagine what it could be. Now, since the trial has commenced, we finally have been told exactly what went on at these freak-offs. If you saw my previous videos covering this, you would know that I have been exposing the truth about the freak-off since the beginning. Go back to my Diddy videos from when all of this started. I told you guys exactly what these freak-offs were. They weren't parties. They were sex magic rituals. Now, Cassie basically has confirmed this during the trial, as she has gone into detail about what exactly Diddy was doing during those rituals. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos exposing the truth weekly. In today's episode, we will be talking about the Diddy trial and Cassie revealing the truth about the freak-offs. Let's get right into it. Right now, we're at the start of the trial of the decade.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 2. It says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known."
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Kol halal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. That's giving all praise to the Most High, in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles, a great millstone who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. Shalom to the 144,000. My name is Ibar, next to me.
Brother the Pup.
And we the brothers from the Prophets in Babylon camp down here in Tampa, Florida. And this is a video from the channel Truth Is, okay, or The Truth Is. Definitely go subscribe to that channel. And he makes some very interesting videos. He get a lot of the news and topics put together very well. And this particular topic, it says, Cassie just revealed the freak-offs were actually rituals. All right, Cassie just revealed the freak-offs were actually rituals. All right, and you know this whole Diddy thing, you know, we didn't spoke about it before, but now that the trial, you know, has just commenced commenced, you know, the court case going into the trial, a lot is going to be exposed in these coming weeks. Okay, including the other day when this trial first started, a lot is getting exposed. And this isn't for, shits and giggles. This isn't for sensationalism. This is some very wicked, demonic, satanic, evil shit that's going on. Okay? And these are the people they put in front of you all over the TV, in your movies, and your music. Growing up, Jake used to watch BET, and, they had these individuals, getting pushed to our communities. These are so-called leaders in the so-called black community today. And what the Lord is doing, as the brother brought out, he's revealing all the wickedness, all the evil, all the, filth that's been going on. It's all coming to the light, man. What's done in the dark is coming to the light. And this is also a sign of the fall of America.
Yeah.
You got Trump just said how he wanna put tariffs on the movie industry, because Hollywood is doing terrible. Hollywood is dying. Yeah, because all this shit is coming out, man. So the Lord is through with this place, and it's already started from the inside.
Yeah, the Lord is just revealing everything, especially on these celebrities, because they have a high influence here on Babylon. All right, and Esau Edom used Jake, these celebrity Jakes, to continue to influence Jake, 2/3 Jakes, and continue to keep them in the wickedness, man. All right, we ultimately see through their devices their wicked schemes.
Right.
All right, and we call it out, and we rebuke it, man.
And that's what we're gonna do in this video,
Yeah.
because it's a vibration that they're pushing out to our people, and this is getting exposed, man. This is how these individuals, he's gonna go into it. It's some sick shit, bro. So bear, get your children out of the room. But and I like this guy's video because he does a great job of with his word. So it isn't. But he's going to explain to you what type of wicked stuff they was doing, man. You know, you got it now. Where I'll give you an example. You got it, which she mentioned this in that trial or in that on the court. How on the stand, how this guy was hiring male escorts and having them pee on her, pee in her mouth. All right, and this is something that goes on in these rituals.
Yeah.
Okay, these sex rituals. All right, but also now that's being it's being
Exposed.
nah, it's being like common. Okay, it's
Oh,
being
yeah.
it's being what's the word?
Um,
Less. It's like it's not.
Normal.
Yeah, it's becoming more normal. Okay, and now you got people, in everyday life that's got a fetish for getting peed on or drinking pee. Weird shit, bro. But this is what this devil is doing. He's making all these things. He's normalizing these things, commercializing it, making it where everybody's into it. And this right here is why the Lord has to destroy America. Okay. This is what the fact that this is allowed. We just watched the video too from the guy, the channel Darius M. Go subscribe to that channel. That guy, he do a lot of good videos, but he was going into one where it was just a plethora of women talking about how they cheated on their men, proudly.
Yep.
And I think that's what I was meaning to go into too.
Yeah.
But they was proudly just boasting about cheating on their men online. No shame, no fear.
Yep.
And I told the brother, I said, hey, you couldn't do that over there in the ancient world, man.
Yep.
Okay, or over there in the so-called Middle East.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that over there. All right, your ass will be dead. But here in America, that's allowed.
They chopping your head off over there, man. They taking you out in the most cruelest way. All right, but that's why America is so wicked now in this day, because they allow these certain things, man. Committing adulteries, fully allowed.
They promote it.
They promote it.
That's what they're doing. They're promoting it to you.
Yeah. That's why the Lord is coming to destroy America, Babylon, with nuclear flames. I got a precept with that real quick.
So like, bring that back real quick though first.
It says, Luke 12 and verse 2, it says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed."
There's nothing covered. They try to cover this up. They try to hide all the evidence. It's nothing covered that's not going to be revealed. The Lord is revealing these things in these last days. He's exposing this place. He's not only exposing Diddy and these individuals that was at them freak offs, but he was exposing America to the world.
Exactly.
It's not just to us, but it's to the whole world is looking at America with filth. Like, what? People that's in these other countries, they're looking at this stuff. Diddy had, royalty at his parties, the so-called Prince Harry. This devil had politicians. He had Obama at one of them damn parties.
Yeah.
Okay? All in the camera smiling. Hey,
They all was down with the program.
They all with it. So this is not just about Diddy. This is about all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Your favorite rapper, your favorite actor, whoever the hell. They all wicked. They all in bed together. This case has got all of them scared because it's shaking. They're getting exposed. They're being found out.
Exactly.
That's it.
It says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known."
That's right. Nothing hid is going to not be known. So, as this individual said, man, it's all coming to the light. It's all coming to the light. Okay, the Lord is making it known. So everything that's done in the dark is going to come in the light. So all the deceit, all the skullduggery and foolery, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is exposing all that stuff, man.
Yep. And the Lord had his prophets set down here first and foremost to expose these devils.
Right. Started when I had elders and apostles, great millstone on down.
Exactly.
They was the first ones to let you know what was going on with these, so-called celebrities, which are just lesser luminaries. That's why they talk about the Illuminati. These individuals are, on a satanic vibration, man.
Yep.
Okay.
It goes on, it says, "Therefore whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear in closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops."
That's right. And, you got where people, secret conversations are coming out. Even maybe think of this whole Tory Lane situation. Now, this guy got locked up, really, they railroaded him, locked him up for something he didn't even do. And I saw a video, which Lord, I can go into it, but, I saw a video where this damn girl, Megan, on body camera, it showed her come out of the car and step on glass. She said it was glass at first, and all of a sudden she got shot. But you seen her literally step on it and heard her step on the glass. But her friend that allegedly did it, You know, the bodyguard was sitting there listening.
Yeah.
And he coming out telling, conversation that he heard between her and her husband in private about how she did it. You know? So all this wickedness is going to be revealed. This guy Diddy, another way he got exposed and began exposed for years is his former bodyguards will come out. So the Lord will always have somebody there, whether it be an angel
A witness.
or a person, and all this stuff is coming out in these last days. So it's all being found out through the Spirit, who's right, who ain't right, who's really, who they say they are and who's not.
They're revealing the photos, the wicked photos that he was taking, all in that courtroom right now, man. All right, so the photos and the things that he was doing, the videos that he was doing.
Yeah, they say he had a video camera in every room. So he was filming all that shit.
Yeah.
And all that's about to come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got a precept. This is Revelations 21 and verse 8. It says, "But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death."
That's right, and that's those thermonuclear fire, those thermonuclear missiles.
Yep.
You see, because the Most High has a setup where these nations are going to get pissed off at America so much so that they're all going to send their entire artillery of nuclear missiles over here.
Exactly.
Okay, this is Bible prophecy. People, when we hear us say that, and they're like, it doesn't. It makes sense. It's all. It's the Spirit is making it known to you in the movies and the shows. You can't get away from seeing nukes blowing up, nukes this, nukes that. Well, through the Spirit of Yahweh Shemashah, that's prophecy. And what's going to happen is America is going to be completely consumed in flames. It's going to be a lake of fire.
Yep.
All right, and Hollywood going to be in that fire, deep in that fire.
That's right. And everything, the scripture listed, is everything that America was brought up upon and promotes in this day. So that's why America has to be destroyed with those nuclear flames or nuclear missiles, man, because of their wickedness, man.
Right. The wages of sin is death.
Yep.
So now there's death coming to America. All right. Through the power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, who you ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ. Okay? The Lord is destroying this place. That was it on that?
Yeah, that was on that.
All right, let's play some more of this and then we'll grab some more. I'm bringing it back.
First heard the term Diddy free calls from a lawsuit that Cassie filed. Cassie accused Diddy of forcing her to participate in these freak-off parties where she was forced to hook up with male escorts while Diddy watched it all go down. At first, the world refused to believe it, calling Cassie a liar who just wanted money from Diddy. But people started looking at her differently when the very next day, Diddy settled with Cassie for millions of dollars. This seemed to prove that she wasn't lying about these wild freak-off parties, especially after months later, security footage of one of the hotels where the freak-offs were held that leaked, showing Cassie trying to escape a Diddy freak-off session and being...
Hey, and Cassie's a freak too, These women it ain't just Diddy that's a freak. Cassie a freak too, because she was with a lot of that stuff. Yeah. But that's how these women are. They're into that freaky shit, man, that kinky shit, and it's just demonic. But the fact of the matter is too is that when she came out and told people what was going on, people was calling her a liar. Saying that she was making it up. She was trying to get money. When these individuals tell you shit, you gotta listen, man. Okay, because a lot of times they're not just making this shit up. Especially when it deals with these individuals like Diddy, You can't put nothing past this guy. And he's going to go into it. How you going around calling himself brother love? What do you think a nigga means when he's talking about? It ain't talking about what we know what love is in the scriptures.
Yeah.
This nigga got some other shit going on, man. So we we are literally in a cesspool of freaks, okay, here in America. It's a cesspool. It's just like, Sodom and Gomorrah. It was a cesspool of freaks. And what did the Lord do to Sodom and Gomorrah? He completely burned it.
Yeah.
So America is going to get the same example, except on a much larger scale.
Stopped by Diddy. This is when it became clear to the world that who they thought Diddy was isn't who he really is behind the scenes. Even with this information out there, no one knew exactly what these freak-out parties were. They could only imagine what it could be. Now, since the trial has commenced, we finally have been told exactly what went on at these freak-offs. If you saw my previous videos covering this, you would know that I have been exposing the truth about the freak-off since the beginning. Go back to my Diddy videos from when all of this started. I told you guys exactly what these freak-offs were. They
We
weren't
told you.
parties. They were sex magic rituals.
Yeah, we told
now,
you.
Cassie basically has confirmed this during the trial, as she has gone into detail about what exactly Diddy was doing during those rituals. Hey guys, I hope all is well about the freak-offs. Let's get right into it. Right now, we're at the start of the trial of the decade. The biggest figure in hip-hop is being judged by the courts for his horrific behavior within the music industry. Since 2023, people have started to see Diddy differently. But after the details revealed during the trial, the world will see him for what he really is. A sick individual who's into some dark things. Recently, the trial has commenced, and the first witness called to the stand is no other than Cassie. Cassie is one of the most important witnesses.
And look at her. She's pregnant. Okay, she done got with a whole nother guy who's a complete simp. This woman was getting, whored out, bro. But another guy done took her up, married her, and got her pregnant, put a baby in that. When you hear the shit that she was into, man, and what he gonna say in this video, what, we might say in this video, but also what's gonna come out in the coming months and, in the coming weeks and months concerning all the shit she was down with. I've heard just a little bit of it, and it's like, wow.
It's disgusting, man.
You people are sick. These are freaks, man.
Yeah, man. You had it where there was a video going around of how her husband, who she's with now, he had to walk out of the court, man.
Yeah.
After hearing all the things that she was doing, bro.
Diddy's daughters ran out, his twin daughters.
It's disgusting, man.
It's embarrassing. I know he embarrassed. She probably ain't telling none of that shit to his chick.
Yeah.
And this is what happened in America now, bro.
You don't know.
Yeah, you meet a woman, you thinking oh, I love this woman, oh, I have my children. You don't know her past, man. This is why men got women young in the ancient world. Because if a bitch have a past, that's an embarrassment. You up there pregnant with somebody's child, and he's talking about how you done drunk piss and popped dues and ate shit and,
Ate ass.
That's another thing. These women nowadays, and full-grown men like that shit.
Yeah.
Full-grown men will let a woman eat his ass, okay? And you got a grown-ass woman out here that's eating ass.
Yeah.
Meet you one day and you want to, hey, y'all get together, you trying to marry, you fall in love, you kissing her.
You being romantic with this bitch.
Then bitch done ate ass, man.
Oh, my God, man.
And that's America as a whole. This is a symbol of America, man. This is why other countries don't allow this shit over there, because it represents the whole country. You see? This is what's going on amongst the richest, and elite of this country. This is what they're doing.
That's why, a lot of those other countries, their women are in order. They don't have certain, diseases and, infections going around, polluting the whole land.
Bro, I just saw a couple videos about how they're reporting how it's hundreds of thousands, of people that have HIV.
That's sick,
in Jamaica, they said it's like 30,000, and Jamaica's a small island of people that have HIV. I believe in Philly or something like that, it was like 200. 2,000 here, 3,000, 10,000 there. But the point is, it's spreading. Okay, those are people that are infected with a deadly disease because of sexual immorality, because freakism is being promoted. Okay, and when that stuff is being spread like that, when Yahweh Shem Shai has it where this stuff is coming out, that's just people that got tested. What about the ones that didn't get tested?
That's keeping it a secret.
That's keeping it a secret. The woman you popping right now might be infected, but she ain't having an outbreak, so you don't catch it. But this is the reality, man. You meet a woman, you think she, looks so innocent the whole time, she's a freak. Okay? She done dated some freaks, man. So that's why we with it when Yahweh Shem Shai say he finna destroy this place, he finna melt this motherfucker, we with it, bro.
Yep. Yep.
We need it now, today. Fuck that, 30 years from now, 1,000 years. You niggas are crazy, man. You want to be here for another 30 years? Why is that even in your head?
Another 1,000 years?
You supposed to be hastening the coming of the Lord, praying the Lord come back sooner. Pray. You pray every day to the Lord. Scripture says pray for a few days, man. Why the hell would you want to? Why you in the mindset of being for 30 years or even 1,000 years? Now if we gotta be here for that long, which is not realistic. If we had to be for that long, hey, we'll be all as long as possible for Yahweh Shem Shai. Lord will keep the spirit on us. But you supposed to be in the spirit of wanting this thing to come now, hastening the coming. And if not, praying Yahweh Shem Shai bring it, man.
Yep. Hey, and that's ultimately, that's the Lord putting a strong delusion on them niggas, man. All right, so once he does come back, they're gonna settle on their lease, and the Lord's gonna come back, and they're gonna be destroyed, bro.
Right.
You know, because they thinking the Lord ain't gonna come back to another 30 years, 1,000 years, or however many years. All right, but ultimately the Lord gonna, like a thief in the night.
Right, like a thief in the night when you least expect
when
it.
you least expect it, when you settled on your lease, when you think everything's gonna be fine, you just got your Hellcat, you just bought it last night. Now you want to go drive in it, and next thing you know, you see the Lord come back, man.
And that's what happened. People gonna end up selling out to this beast system, taking the MOTB when that's established, and trying to live their life again. Wanting Trump to make America great again. They want to live their life again, and you gonna drive right into a nuke. Okay, the Lord is through with this place, and we letting you know now. Hey, scripture, like we put in the title, save yourselves from this untoward generation. I can grab that real quick.
Hey, that C-Hub, bro, it's gonna be normalized like every new iPhone that comes out each year. They're gonna promote it. People are gonna get it. People are gonna be like, oh, you don't got that new, you don't got the C-Hub. They're gonna be advertising it. People gonna love it, bro.
They're gonna have these celebrities promoting it to you.
Exactly.
It says, Acts chapter 2, verse 40. For with many words did he testify and exhort, saying, save yourselves from this untoward generation. Okay, and this word untoward, when you go into it, it means this word untoward.
Strong's G 4646 scolios.
Scolios, it means crooked, curved, perverse.
And how are we saving ourselves, man? It's by coming back into the Lord, bro. Because this place is crooked, man. It's wicked. All right? It's meant for destruction, bro. All right? So we trying to save ourselves from that destruction and the sin and the crooked and sinful ways of this place, man. All right?
Hey, and this is the same generation that was on the earth when the Lord walked the earth. That's why he said to those two that he was going to come back and get those two Roman citizens who pierced him, or Roman soldiers who pierced him. But also he said until this generation passed. So this is that same generation coming back, okay, when the Lord was on the earth. All right, so he says, save yourselves from this untoward, which means crooked, curved, perverse, wicked, unfair, surely froward generation. Okay, save yourselves, it says, from this warped. Okay, grab that word warped, Baba Kasha, real quick in the NLT. I mean, in Edom Online, Baba Kasha. Grab that word warped. Okay, this warped generation, something that's warped, it's imperfect. It's trash. Hey, I work in the wood shop, bro. And sometimes you'll get, a project and the wood might be warped. For whatever reason, the wood might have a little bubble in it. It might be warped. It might be not the way it's supposed to be. And you got to throw that shit away. Okay? Bring it out.
Is it
warped? No, right here. P.
Oh, warped.
Because it said one of the synonyms is it's a warp. Scripture says, save yourselves from this warped generation. Go ahead.
It says to bend, twist, distort.
Distort. This place has been completely distorted from the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Go ahead.
To throw away.
You gotta throw it away. Did I not just say that?
Yeah.
I've never looked that word up. That's the spirit, bro.
Yo.
I've never looked that word up.
It says hit with a missile.
Whoa! Call Allah, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Kakodah. Show that on the camera, bro. Baba Kashak.
God, bro.
Show that on the camera.
It says, I'm put on this one first.
This is the word for warp. Now, when I look up that word, hold on. That word crooked, or that word for untoward. Save yourselves from this untoward generation.
Yeah.
Okay, bring that part back. This is for the word warped. Or warp. So like not warped. Warp.
It says to throw away, hit with a missile.
Hit with a missile.
And that's how Babylon's gonna be hit with, man. Nuclear missiles, man.
It gotta be destroyed.
It gotta be destroyed. It gotta go.
If something is warped, it gotta be destroyed, man.
Fuck.
People is through.
Yeah.
And this is why the Lord can't, he gotta come and change our people, because you're gonna have Jake becoming Superman, but you're gonna have Bizarro Superman.
Yeah.
If these guys ain't right. This is why the Lord gotta come back and he got to purify us. We have to be changed. Because this is a warped generation, a generation that must be hit with missiles. That's spiritual. I can't believe to say that.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
Like, that's crazy. Read that again, Baba Kasha.
it says to bend, twist, distort, to throw away, hit with a missile.
Hit with a missile. So America's about to get hit with a missile because it is a warped generation. Okay? This is a untoward, warped, crooked, perverse, wicked generation. And that's what you're going to find out in this video. We haven't even got 5 minutes to this video yet, man. But this video, I'm going to play, you know, what portion I'm playing, it's going to show you how wicked this place is. Then he goes on to give other examples in the video of the people that's doing the same shit. Just through.
Kind of.
That was it?
Yeah, that was it.
All right. To bringing it back, it says, Acts chapter 2, verse 40, and with many other words did he testify and exhort, saying, this is what we're doing right now, exhorting you, telling you, warning you, okay? Saying, save yourselves from this untoward generation.
This generation meant to be hit with a missile, man. Meant to be destroyed. All right, because of the wickedness of this place. All right, so the Lord says, you know, we exhort each other and say, you know, save ourselves, man, from this untoward generation, man. Twisted, crooked.
Right.
All right, even, you know, the way America, Babylon was brought up was wicked, man. All right, was through wickedness, man. And that's why the Lord's going to have to set up his kingdom through, and he's going to set it up through righteousness.
Through righteousness.
And that's why it's going to be, you know, everlasting, you know.
Let me see, it says in NLT, then Peter continued preaching for a long time, strongly urging all his listeners, which is what we're doing here, save yourselves from this crooked generation. This is, so saving yourself, like your brother said, because come back to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Save yourself, man. You don't want to burn with these people. You don't want to be destroyed.
What the scripture says, work out your own salvation through fear and trembling. And that's what we're doing, man. When we come back into this truth, when we came back and forsook the way of this world, man, all right, we came back with fear of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And that's why we continue on, man. All right, through the fear of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. I got a precept as well.
Go ahead.
It says, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, I'm going to drop down to verse 19. It says, for horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation.
Horrible is the end of this unrighteous generation. When we're talking about the same generation, the same spirits are back today.
Yeah.
Okay? The ones who came up against Yahushai, saying crucify him. Okay, we have no king but Caesar. These same spirits are back today. You know? All on your TV screen. You know? Same individuals that Yahushai, the same spirits Yahushai encountered, they're back in the earth today. Okay? Because there's a such thing called regeneration. Or they'll call it reincarnation. But really, when you come back as, you know, the same seed line. All right? But it's the same spirit, just a different body. But it's the same, but you of the same nation. All right? So them same spirits came back. And this is the time when the Lord is going to, you know, really destroy this generation. Bring that back.
It says, for horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation.
Horrible is the end of an unrighteous generation. Horrible. Through. Okay? When you see the way the Lord about to do this place, the way he's about to jack this place up, it's going to be horrible.
He's only right, though, man. All right? Because look at the sins of this place, the wickedness of this place.
And it's powered up to the heavens.
So the Lord's just giving them back their portion, you know.
Go ahead.
Oh, that was on that.
All right, let's play some more. I got some more precepts.
In this trial, as she was the woman who started this all. If it wasn't for suing Diddy back in 2023, the world will still be worshiping that fallen man. While on the trial, Cassie has been painting a picture of what exactly she went through with Diddy, giving us a vivid description of the disturbing freak-offs. According to Cassie, she met Diddy when she was fairly young at the age of 19 and began dating him not long after. She was an inspiring artist, and Diddy took a liking to her, signing her to his Bad Boy record label for a 10-album deal. The more time they spent together working on music, the closer they became, until she fell in love with him. By the time she was 22, Diddy asked her if she would be willing to participate in his freak-offs. Cassie claimed she was initially caught off guard and shocked, but agreed to do them because she loved Diddy and wanted to keep him happy.
She loved the
Cassie
money.
explained how these freak-offs would play out.
She loved
They
the
would
money,
invite-
man. All right? She loved the money. That's why she came back for a money grab when she sued him. Because it was all about the money.
Yep.
All right. Now she got her ass, jacked up and beat up, and she went through it. But at the end of the day, she loved that money, man. All right, and that's these women in general. Eve done sold out her nation for monetary gain, and not even monetary. It's literally like food stamps,
Yeah.
alimony, child support, you know, Section 8. Hey, they had a rule where you couldn't have Section 8 housing unless you kicked the men out of the house.
Yeah.
So these women, they want that money, and because they want that money, they'll do anything for it.
They would kick the man out the house.
You got women that's tricking right now, bro. Like it's 18s, it's younger. Okay, younger women out here just tricking, selling their ass, bro. So Cassie is no different. She's a freak too, and we don't want to come in here, like it's just, Diddy's a freak. They're all freaks, man. It's a sick world we live in. Everybody in this courtroom is freaks. Okay.
They all got a dark past.
Right.
Male escorts or dancers to hotels they would book all over the country. They would order multiple men sometimes to show up. When the male escorts would show up, he would be greeted by Diddy and Cassie.
So lucky for the ad.
Cassie wearing a disguise. Cassie would wear a mask while Diddy would cover his face with a bandana. Then Diddy would sit in a corner while Cassie and the male worker engaged in intimate acts and watch while playing with his little Diddy, directing the entire session like if he were an adult film director. He would instruct them to continue until the escort would completely finish in or on Cassie. Cassie and Diddy would then immediately run into another room, leaving the escorts alone for a moment. Cassie claimed that when they were in the other room after finishing with the escort, Diddy would do the most disturbing thing about all of this. This is worse than anything else that has been reported, and that says a lot. According to Cassie, Diddy would instruct her to remove the male fluid from inside of her and then rub it on Diddy's chest area. Again, Cassie claims Diddy would want the escort's fluid rubbed on his chest after Cassie finished hooking up with him. This was seriously disturbing, but groundbreaking information that confirms everything I've been exposing about Diddy for years now. Now you may be wondering, why the heck would Diddy want another man's fluid rubbed on his chest? Is it because he's gay and that's just some weird kink he's into? No, not at all. This is darker and deeper than the mainstream
He's gay too, though.
make it appear. Diddy is a sex magician occultist. He is into an occult practice called sex magic. He is a part of the occult sex religion called Thelema. What Cassie described wasn't her fulfilling Diddy's strange kinks. It was describing a sex magic ritual. In Thelema, exactly what Diddy has Cassie doing in these freak-offs is what goes on inside of these Thelema lodges. Groups of sex magicians engage in magical rites where a man and a woman engage in intimate activities together while others watch. Those who are part of the Thelema religion believe that there's magic in intimacy, magic that they need to harness to become spiritually enlightened. By watching another couple engage in these activities, they are absorbing that energy. That's what Diddy was doing the whole entire.
And that's some satanic ritual shit, bro. Now, you have it where these small hats, the Jewish people, okay, they own the corn industry. They own that industry. They promote that. This is why they got kicked out of every country all over the world, because they was promoting wickedness, man. They was promoting transgenderism back then. Men being women and women being girls. So this how you know the wicked is in power, all right? Because this, what they're exposing by this individual with these rituals, which he's gay too. You had a guy come out, one of those male prostitutes come out and said, Diddy's gay. Yeah, they're all fucking gay. They're all sickos, weirdos, because that's a part of the rituals. You want to get to the top, you gotta blow this producer. They do it to the woman. You hear about it all the time happening to the woman, but you don't think it happened to the men too? This nigga Diddy, if you wanted something from him, you had to do him a favor. Okay? This is a wicked, perverse generation. These niggas is through. Yahweh Shem Yahshua got to destroy these individuals, man.
I got his precept.
And the fact that this guy was all over your TV screen for decades. He ain't just do this for the past 5. He ain't just started this when COVID came. No, this guy been doing this for decades, man. Your kids out there dancing. I used to like one of this guy's songs. I used to, play one of his songs back when I was a jit. I forgot what the song was. About, I think it was a song about Biggie when he died, but I wasn't relating it to Biggie, but it was a beautiful. I forgot what the song was called, or every day I wake. You know, which really he was just sampling all that shit. But talking about Diddy, this nigga Diddy was a freak too.
Yeah.
People be listening to that nigga music, and I've never been into his music, Biggie's music. But the times I have listened to it, nigga was saying some weird shit about effing kids in the, like, what?
Yeah.
And Jake was listening to this stuff. So that's a vibration that's been put. This is why you see Jake so messed up.
Wow, bro.
Rap, hip hop went from conscious music to complete brain rot, wickedness spewing in your ears, along with some sorcery spells. So this individual, this is how he, you know, not only got off, but this is how he got up.
Yeah.
This is how he got to be a billionaire.
Yeah. Hey.
You know, how you think you become a billionaire in Esau's kingdom?
Yeah. You know, Jake was the start of hip hop. You know, he was the start of, you know, because Jake was the salt of the earth, man. All right. So Jake came with flavor. They came with the music and all these different things. And Esau seen how much influence it had on people, and he had to get a hold of that
Right.
instantly if he wanted to control his kingdom. All right, he had to get in control of the music industry.
That's
All
right.
right, so that's why, you know, you had the whole shift. All right, from, you know, the how hip hop, all right, is now what's the word for it?
Brain rot. How it was conscious.
Yeah.
It was
You know,
conscious rap.
was
It was
conscious.
like actual, you know, it was actually spoken word going out. You know, back in the Nas days, which Nas said some weird shit too, but, you know, KRS-One, you know, these individuals, they would actually, like, you know, break down and go into, like, actual, you know, knowledge and wisdom, you know, unifying our people. But then it became some wickedness because now all these record labels are owned by,
Yeah.
do I need to say it? The Jews. Okay?
Yeah.
Kanye came out and said that, hey, he was on, you know.
Yeah.
Then this guy came out and recently said how he gave his cousin
Oh, yeah.
fellatio.
Oh, damn.
So they all through. They're all through. All right? Denzel said he left the party early. Nah, nigga, you was at the
Yeah, he
parties.
was there.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
Okay? You can't idolize these individuals because they're, you know, they got real deal spirits on them.
Yeah, they're trying to protect their image right now, you know. And once you get big in this society, you have a image on you that you have to withhold. All right. And Esau, Edom know, all right, how to mess up your image and to destroy you as a person. All right, to destroy your character. You know, and they hold that on top of Jake's heads when they go and, you know, and sell their souls over to Esau. They hold that on top of Jake's head, like, hey, nigga, I got a video of you at Diddy party.
Yeah, they blackmail you.
You know?
And then now you stuck.
Exactly.
That's what they'll do. They'll blackmail you, bro. Even with, like, this guy Tory Lanez, and, you know, him, you know, he pretty much, you know, was speaking up against the system, and they had him get in a situation. Now this nigga locked up getting stabbed 14 times because you dance with the devil.
Exactly.
You dance with the devil, you gonna find out he the devil.
Yep.
And Diddy, guys like Diddy, and which he learned that from the small hats. You know, Clyde Davis be going to his house. They got reports saying Clyde Davis going to his house and they going into a room. Like, these niggas is weird.
Yeah, bro.
They're through. Me, Brett, you got something?
I have the Hebrews 13:4.
Yeah, hold on to that. Let me grab this. This is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 10. It says, proving what is acceptable unto the Lord, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them.
Hey, have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, man. All right? You got niggas, you know, like going to these niggas' concerts, you know, these rappers and all these different celebrities.
You didn't want an autograph?
They want an autograph, you know, and not knowing this nigga just, you know, did some abominable things, all right, just an hour before that concert, all right, and you go in there, you know, are you going to his parties, you know, you get his autograph, and you worshiping this nigga, and you worshiping the demons he has with him.
Yeah, they show you that in these movies how, you know, certain movies, they'll show you how, you know, these celebrities or these famous people, they'll be like in the limelight, and then once they leave the limelight, nobody's watching, they're doing some wickedness. A good show is that show, The Boys.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which has like the superhero twist to it or whatever, but it was like basically if superheroes were real, they would be like, you know, Hollywood sensations. People would be idolizing them, like, you know, how they do these celebrities, and it was showing how they was doing wicked shit, you know, just to get to where they wanted to be.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so certain shows and movies like that, they on a funny way or you know, a way that you don't really catch off the rip, but it's like a way of exposing Hollywood, America.
There was a scene in there in that show also. You know, they was having a party with all the superheroes, and they was doing abominable things in there as well.
Oh, yeah.
So they was exposing. They're literally exposing all of it. All right, but in the way of comedy. All right. But when you really watching, you know what's going on. Like,
It was a whole house full of an orgy.
yeah.
You know, it was having a big orgy in this one house, and it was one
Yeah.
episode. That shit was a wicked episode.
It was wicked as hell.
Because they, you know, but they had like a big ass orgy in one house, and that was what this guy's going to go into, that thelema, you know, that those sex rituals, man. That shit is real. You know, and a lot of these women, they're into that stuff too. A lot of these women, you know, just like in the ancient world, you had women that literally had sex unto false gods. You got particular false gods that want you to worship them by having sex with somebody. You know, it's through. You know, and I think I met a woman like that one time, bro. You know, the sign the bitch was praising a demon. You know,
Yeah.
why you popping her? All right, but that's what's going on. These people are into all kind of shit, man.
Disgusting, bro.
All right, so when they show you in these shows, these movies, this is what's really going on behind the scenes. You got swinger parties. You got, you know, I had a coworker one time who was telling me about how it was like a club in the middle of down here in the Tampa by the strip clubs where you can go and grown ass adults just be swinging in there. It's like a business. You paying and you go in there, you having a, you know, the glory hole shit going on, man. This is what's going on in America. And this ain't gonna be going on in our kingdom. Okay? It says, but rather reprove them, for it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
Oh my goodness, it's just a shame to even speak of these things, man. All right, they brought them photos out in that court, and everybody was just looking down like, you know, disgusted, man.
His daughters ran out.
Yeah.
Ashamed. Like, damn, that was my daddy? Which they knew he was a freak, but they didn't know he was that kind of freak.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And they was defending him at one point.
It was defending him, fighting for him. Free my daddy.
Yeah.
Then you had Cassie's husband.
He walked out.
I got a baby in this bitch, man. My parents are watching this. You know? My friends, they gonna know about this.
Bro, wow, bro. You know.
You just I couldn't imagine being that guy right now. After hearing all the stuff this woman has done and is doing, I couldn't imagine being that guy right now. I would have the divorce papers already getting finalized, man.
Yeah.
You did what? And now the whole world know about it?
Just from hearing that she's with Diddy.
Right. Yeah.
Would have took me all the way out. You know? But the Lord brought his prophets. You know, the Lord have his prophets here rebuking and reproving and correcting you niggas, man. All right?
Hey, the scripture says the gospel shall be preached into the whole world, and then shall the end come. And this is a part of the gospel, exposing these individuals.
Exactly.
You know, telling you how you know, the stars of heaven shall fall.
Yeah.
The Lord is literally destroying these individuals. He's taking them out.
And that's,
you know?
That's why Jake, you know, they always so offended, you know, of the prophets, man. Because we come out, you know, to tell you the blunt truth. All right? You know, you have, you know, different, you have it at camp where you have different homosexuals, you know, couples. They'll walk by, putting their head down and stop holding hands and, you know, because they feel the spirit of truth right there and they're being condemned, man.
It's the light.
It's the light, you know, and they're in the darkness, you know, and just like vampires. You know, when that light shines, those vampires, they start to run away and scare away.
They start to boil up and catch on fire.
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, people get upset with this word because, you know, they are in the darkness, and darkness, you know, can't, you know, withstand light.
And that's what made, you know, that movie Sinners, you know, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it yet, but that's what made it that much more spiritual, because when Jake would turn to vampires, the light would shine on them. They can't be in the light. You know, and that's how Jake is here, bro.
Because they was dead.
They was dead.
She said, tell the truth.
You dead.
Truth about what? You dead.
Exactly.
These motherfuckers are dead.
They're dead.
Bro, I remember an interview Kanye had. This was when I was like first, like, you know, opening my eyes. You know what I'm saying? He had an interview, and Kanye was on the Ellen show. And this you can't find this nowhere. Okay? You cannot find this nowhere. They done completely scrubbed this out of the internet. All right? And if you do find it, send it to me. But Kanye did an interview, And he was saying, dead. Dead. We're all dead.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
He was going in though, and they're like, Kanye, he was having this little rants. But he was saying Steve Jobs, such and such, all these billionaires and
they all dead.
Dead. They all dead. So
Vampires.
you know, you can conquer, you can get to the top of the mountain in this society. But if it ain't with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you're dead. Okay? And these individuals that's participating in this wickedness, they're already dead, but then they're going to die again when the Lord send that fire. When the Lord send this destruction down, this chaos. And these individuals doing the adreno ... chrome, okay, and staying youthful. Some of these motherfuckers like in their 80s and look like they're in their 30s because they're on those spells. They're doing the rituals, you know? So the Lord's gonna come back and destroy these individuals.
Yep. I got it.
Hold on, let me finish this. I'm gonna bring this in back in the NLT. It says, but all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. For whatsoever doth make manifest is light. So it's being made manifest by the light.
By the truth.
What we was going into, the light. People pass by the camp and they veer away. We watch people completely go all around the camp just to avoid the light. It's like a roach. You know, when the lights come on, they go to scattering. These people are dark, bottom feeders. Literally feeding on bottoms. Motherfuckers are sick. So when the light come on, people start feeling uncomfortable. All right? And that's how it's supposed to be. You shouldn't be one with these individuals. In the NLT, it says, this is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 10. It says, carefully determine what pleases the Lord. This is what your life is about, determining what pleases the Lord and walking therein, following the path of Yahweh that leads to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Take no part in worthless deeds of evil and darkness. Instead, expose them.
Exactly. What fellowship has light with darkness, man? All right. So we take no part in it. Instead, we condemn you niggas, man. I rebuke you. All right. Because at the end of the day, man, when the Lord come back, we hoping and we praying, all right, that the Lord comes back sooner, all right, to destroy you niggas, bro. Because a lot of you just won't get it. A lot of you just won't understand, until you have to understand through death by pain, man. All right, and the Lord's going to bring that death, all right?
And that pain.
And the pain, especially to, these celebrities, bro. All right?
And you people who idolize them.
Exactly.
That's a false, that's idolatry. That's my idol. He's my niggas is really in that spirit.
Yeah, they all shall take a part of that, that fire and brimstone, man. The second death.
It says, it is shameful even to talk about the things that ungodly people do in secret.
Yep. It is shameful, man, to even talk about it.
And that's why people was running out of the courtroom.
Yep.
Because they had to confront that shit in that courtroom.
Exactly.
In the courtroom, you gotta go into detail. Where did he piss? Where did he? In my mouth. In front of your fucking husband and about to be father of your child.
Man, bro. You know how that gotta feel, bro? To even know that? To even know a woman's past, bro. Jake be bugging out from that. They found out, their woman probably got more bodies than she'd already told. All right, but imagine you hearing all these other different things about your woman, getting all these different, getting pissed on her. You never know.
And with that sex ritual stuff, you have to. That's why Diddy was rubbing it on his chest, because you have to eat, drink, bathe in body fluids. He's gonna go into it in this video. We might not get to it, but in this video he was going into it. He was saying how you have it where J-Lo, she, her ex-husband came out and exposed her that she took a bath in chicken blood.
Oh man.
She completely bathed herself in chicken blood. Those are those rituals, man, that these individuals are into. All right, but these individuals, they'll be literally ingesting human body fluids. So, blood, semen, piss, shit. Okay, menstrual cycle. I saw a video recently somewhere where somebody was talking about they be feeding somebody their menstrual blood. Y'all been eating my menstrual blood. These women do that too. They showed you how they do that.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, they put this. That's a part of the ritual.
Exactly.
That shit came out a few years ago. Brothers done spoke on it already. Like, we gotta expose these things, bro. You got women out here that you might meet going on a date with, and she cook a meal for you. She bring you some spaghetti, and this bitch will put her period blood in the spaghetti to make you fall in love with her. That's a sex ritual. That's sex magic. Okay. There was another story that came out recently about nubby. Some, noobing or some shit like that. With these women, they would put their vaginal fluids on their, they'll wear it like perfume.
Nubby.
They'll wear it like perfume, and that would make men attracted to them by their pheromones or whatever.
Right.
So it's just a filthy, wicked society, a filthy, wicked generation.
Yeah.
And this is becoming more normalized. More people are witches nowadays. Back in the day, a witch got burned on the stake. Now everybody's a fucking witch. Okay? And they just walking around, chilling. Everybody mows, straight sickos, You got pedos. Every day you got individuals exposing pedos.
It is all promoted.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro. This place is evil, man. It's wicked. What was on that?
Yeah, that was the point.
Okay, I got this. This is Proverbs 8 and verse 35. It says, "For whosoever findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord."
Whosoever findeth me findeth life. When you come into Yahweh Shem Shai, you've come into life. Okay, that's why I said choose this day blessings or curses. We come into Yahweh Shem Shai, we've chose life. We decided to live and not to die with these individuals out here that the Lord is about to destroy. All right, because the Lord is about to destroy a lot of them. All right, truth be told. So come back to Yahweh Shem Shai. This is the plea from us. We go out there and we teach them. We are pleading to our people to come back to Yahweh Shem Shai. We're warning you of the destruction that's about to come over and of what He's about to do to the very people around you. So if you hold their hands with them, buddies with them, you're going to have to get the same judgment. Go ahead.
It says, "But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul."
Yeah, you sinning against Yahweh Shem Shai, you wronging your own soul. You doing your own self-harm. Because you going what we said earlier, the wages of sin is death.
Yeah. Scripture says, "Bring your self-damnation." So with all that wickedness that you're doing, Jake doing it ain't trying to come back into the Lord. All you're doing is really hurting yourself, man. All right, you being ignorant, arrogant. All right, that's why the elders always say, "If a nigga can't get it, you can't get it, bro. It don't got nothing to do with us."
Right.
All right, because you really doing that to yourself, man.
Well, because if you can't get it, that means the Lord didn't choose you.
Yep.
So it's really not individuals, like we go out there and we tell you to repent, come back to Yahweh Shem Shai, but really it's up to the Lord, who He wants to come back. All we can do is plant the seed. It's Yahweh. By Shem Shai that waters it and gives the increase. So when people pass by the camp, all we're doing is planting the seed. They're hearing that word and it's being, planted in their head. Especially when that day comes, if you don't take heed to it, you can't say you didn't know. That's why the scripture says, many, that you shall witness this. Okay, the whole world has to, we are expected to go into the world, because when you see the prophets or hear the prophets, you're hearing the word of the Most High, okay? And you're getting that warning, whether it's for you or not. You just better hope it's for you. You better hope the Lord dealing with you. You better hope the Lord seeks to save you, because if not, it doesn't matter. But the Lord going to play it back in that day when the nuke's coming. I told you. I warned you. When, Lord? When you? People going to say, Lord, I didn't know. Lord, you didn't tell me what to do. Yeah, I did. I told you. I showed you. When, Lord, when? The Lord going to show you a vision in your mind. And when you pass by the prophets, when you were scoffing the prophets, when you was on TikTok talking about the Hebrew Israelites, silly, goofy, it's the word of the Lord. We telling you the word of the Lord, and you want to laugh and play about it. Well, the Lord going to be laughing at your calamity when a missile hits you. What we brought out with that word warped, it says hit by a missile. The Lord about to hit this place with a missile, man. If you don't fear, if that doesn't put a fire in your ass to move closer to Yahweh Shem Shai right now, sooner than later, ain't nothing we can tell you.
It says, "But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death."
You hate Yahweh Shem Shai, you love death. If you hate the ways of Yahweh Shem Shai, then you love death. If you like eating pork, You know, you hate when somebody tell you you can't eat pork, you can't eat crab, shrimp, and lobster. You love death.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's what you're gonna fucking surely get.
Yeah.
You're gonna die. You're gonna have a parasite burrowing through your brain and your eyeballs. Okay? These people are in a dead state, man. That's why in the movie center, she said, tell the truth, that you dead. These people are dead, man. They're trying to act like they're living and they're alive and they, you know, the Instagram, they posting the pictures and nigga, you dead. You through. You have no life in you. You haven't felt the blissful spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
Yep. The sinners was the vampires, the dead. That's who the sinners were. All right, and that's how it is here. You know, the sinners are the ones that are spiritually dead, man. All right, and they hate the light.
And they showed you how all those individuals, when you paid attention to that movie, they showed you how all those individuals in that movie, they was doing some kind of sin before they got turned. Okay? You had the one woman, she was doing the witchcraft, and she ended up getting turned.
Yeah.
You know, hit the, you know, one of the Michael B. Jordan's a woman, his baby mama, child died, but she was in the voodoo and shit.
Yeah.
You had the other dude that was committing adultery with another man's woman. The white girl was already married to somebody else. You know, you had you know, all their ass, man. You know, was wicked. So they, you know, so that means that even before they got turned, they was really already dead. But then they became the dead.
Yeah.
That's why like that show, The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Scripture says how Jake is how I go. Though they lie dead in the streets.
Oh yeah.
You know, so Jake is roaming these streets, just dead, through. This guy, you look in his eyes, you see all the darkness, bro. The demons. You just said that. You look at the video, you said his eyes are straight black.
Yeah.
That was the demons manifesting these individuals. A woman asked me the other day about the fucking the reptilian shit. Are the reptilians real? I said, no, those are fucking demons. It ain't no green people in the middle of the earth, bro. That's bugged out. Okay? Those are individuals that's doing rituals, and every now and then them demons that they dealing with manifest. Okay? And you see it all on camera and shit. They manifest. Them demons are manifesting. So imagine when these demons really, and the Lord really open, you know, which we watching that show, all May Devils Cry.
Oh yeah, Devils May Cry.
Devils May Cry. That show is a new anime out where it's just showing you how talking about the holy war, where the demon world is going to open up into the physical world. Okay, they ready to let the demons out, and that's what is going to happen here in America. It's happening. It is already happened. All right. That was it on that.
That was it.
In Thelema, exactly what Diddy has Cassie doing in these freak-offs is what goes on inside of these Thelema lodges. Groups of sex magicians engage in magical rites where a man and a woman engage in intimate activities together while others watch. Those who are part of the Thelema religion believe that there's magic in intimacy, magic that they need to harness to become spiritually enlightened. By watching another couple engage
Look at
in
that
these
widow on the back,
activities,
man.
they are absorbing that energy. That's what Diddy was doing the whole entire time. Everyone you see at the very top in Hollywood engages in these rituals. Now, the reason Diddy wanted the male fluid rubbed on his chest, it's because in sex magic, they believe the male fluid is magical. They call it the life essence. They believe that the energy needs to be harnessed. The reason they do these rituals is to put themselves in a trance-like state where they can activate their higher selves. Diddy was participating in these sex rituals with Cassie. Now, Diddy has been telling the world he's a part of the Thelema religion for a while now. Every time you see him taking pictures, doing this hand gesture.
Those are his twin daughters right there that stormed out of the courthouse. All right? But you see that hand gesture right there, okay? These individuals, they speak through their hand gestures. Let me see if I can grab that real quick, okay? They speak through their hand gestures. Now, you see all these individuals, you know, including Trump, your president, he makes that same hand gesture. Who you think he doing it? That's just how his hands sit?
No, man.
Nah, man, that's what these individuals, that's how they talk to one another, okay? Look, he was at that event, and I believe behind their head that says Clive Davis. That was a guy who pretty much mentored him into being the freak that he is. You know, that gave him the deals that he got to get where he at, and now he's returning the favor to other individuals. So he's literally linked in with these individuals, man. That was the Grammys. Looked like it says the Grammys behind him, and then it says Clyde Davis.
Yeah. You're
You know?
father the devil, man.
Yeah, that's who you know who invited him in. This devil Clyde Davis, which that guy came out with a book openly admitting that he was gay.
Wow.
Okay, that was his handler, and now Diddy's handlers to other individuals that was in these last days is all gonna come out. Everybody who was at them parties, you gonna start looking at their ass crazy because it's gonna be actual court testimonies of what they was doing. All right. When these court cases come out, a lot of things get exposed because that stuff is exposed to the public. All right. Let me see. Talk hands. Let me see. You got something?
No, I'm got that Romans 1. Still on that, but-
Bring it out.
Okay, this is Romans chapter 1 and verse 26. This is an NLT. Or actually, I'm going to go up to verse 5.
Start in that KJV first.
Con. In the KJV it says, who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creator.
Yeah, these people, they're all about themselves. Scripture says in the end times, they shall be lovers of their own selves.
Mm-hmm.
People have become lovers of their own selves. It's all about how they feel. That's why this guy was talking about love, brother love.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think he was talking about? It wasn't like we said, it wasn't the love in the scriptures.
Yep.
Okay, it's a different kind of love they got going on. So these people change the truth of the Most High into a lie, the way the Lord set it up, and they got their own ways of setting it up. And then now they coming up with their own, you know. Mm-hmm. That's why people talk about I got my truth. This is my truth. Mm-hmm. Nigga, it's only the truth. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
They always ask you, how do you feel?
Mm-hmm.
You know, or what do you think? You know, it's not about what we think or how we feel, man. You know, you also had just, past, that Mother's Day, all right, where you had a lot of those women, worshiping themselves. All right, and I just did a video on another woman. She was 23 years old. It was her birthday and Mother's Day on the same day. And she got judged on that day, man. You know, the Lord had somebody go, do a drive-by on her and just shoot her up, bro.
Mm.
You know.
On her birthday.
On her birthday and Mother's Day. And she had a child. So she was, celebrating, extra hard because she was a mother and it was her birthday. And that was just self-worship, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's idolizing yourself.
That's idolatry.
Idolatry.
That was the sin she was participating on that day. And the Lord, that tab ran up that day.
Oh, yeah.
That tab ran up, and the wages had to be paid. That wage had to be paid.
It says, for this cause Yahweh gave them up unto vile affections. For even their woman did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Bring that back up.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
It says, Romans 1 and verse 25, who changed the truth of
No, the other verse.
Oh. It says, Romans 1 and verse 26, for this cause Yahweh gave them up unto their vile affections.
The Most High gave them up into vile affections, man. To want to get another man's semen rubbed on your chest. They want to get shit on your chest. Whatever people are into, those are vile affections. You know? These people are sick. What do you want to get pegged? That's what this guy Alizar.
Oh, man.
You know? You was rubbing shoulders with these goddamn interviewers and stuff, and they doing the same thing. You know? These guys be into, not saying Nate, but we know for sure Alizar had a vile affection for getting pegged, for getting dominated by women. That's a vile affection, man. Okay? Go into that word vile.
In the bulletin?
Grab it in the Edema line.
This is vile. In the Edema line, it says morally repugnant.
Morally repugnant. Okay? Just filthy through. Just morally fucked up in the head. You have no morals. People will say that. You have no morals. You know? People don't have an integral bone in their body. For you to be able to do some gay or weird shit for any type of gain, that means you have no morals.
Yep.
Okay? That's what Cassie was doing. That's what all these individuals do to get to the top. They'll call it effing your way to the top. You got these women that's going in these regular jobs that, down here on this low level, women going to these jobs and sleeping with the coworkers or the bosses to get a higher position. That's a reality. That's prostitution. You know, that stuff goes on. That stuff is real. Go ahead.
It says morally repugnant, morally flawed,
Morally flawed. You are morally flawed. Effed up in the head. Okay, go ahead.
corrupt, wicked, of no value,
Corrupt, wicked, of no value. That's why he's showing you the hand symbol. These individuals, they're doing these hand signals showing you who they are. And when you understand who they are, that means they're corrupt, wicked, and of no value. They put these people all over your TV screen like they're stars from heaven, but really they're corrupt, wicked, and have no value. Morally flawed. Go ahead.
it says of inferior quality,
Inferior quality. Through. That's why the Lord ain't coming for everybody. He's not coming to save everybody. Why would you want to save something that's inferior? You need the most superior, and in this case, spiritually superior. Spiritually, sound. Go ahead.
it says foul, ugly, degrading, humiliating.
Degrading. That individual, she was degrading herself. Okay, just to stay with this guy to keep getting the money. You had that Jake, Young Miami. She was with this guy too. Okay, degrading herself to get the money. Okay, go ahead.
It says of low estate without worldly honor or esteem.
Of low estate without worldly honor or esteem. You have no honor. You have no self-esteem for you to allow this stuff to happen to you, for you to participate in this madness, this wickedness. Okay?
This is scripture you're looking for?
What's that? Yes, the water. You can bring it out.
Right now?
Yeah.
It says Proverbs 6 and verse 12. It says a naughty person.
A naughty person. You grab that in NLT as well, Baba Bashar.
Okay.
A naughty person. You find out these individuals are naughty. Okay? And his kids too, they freaks. He had to sacrifice some kids from time to time. That kid right there is next to him, the light skin and look, that ain't even his kid, apparently. That's another man's kid. Okay, one of his former wives or some shit, and he took him as his own. Go ahead.
Let me get an NLT or just continue on.
Continue on first and then get an NLT.
It says a naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a forward mouth. He winketh with his eyes. He speaketh with his feet. And he teacheth with his fingers.
Right, he teach it with their fingers. They're showing you what they're about. They're showing you, this is why, Jakes and even down here in the world that's doing wicked shit. They got gang signs and shit they're throwing up. Well, these devils, they throwing up their own little signs too. These elites. They make certain handshakes. That's how they communicate with each other. Just like particular gangs communicate with each other down here with the hand signs. Up there at the top, they communicate with each other with hand symbols and hand signs. All right? Communicating with their fingers. Go ahead.
That was on that one. Bringing an NLT now.
Yeah.
In NLT, it's Proverbs 6 and verse 12. It says, "What are worthless and wicked people like?"
What are these worthless and wicked people like? Prior to me coming into the truth, I used to be in the music industry. I used to make music. I was starting to do shows, and I was starting to make money off the music. When people make music, when you start to make money off of it, that's when you're going somewhere. And I was starting to make money, so I could have tapped into that world. But the Spirit told me in that day, hey, well, you need to consider, if you're going to go around these individuals be in that industry, you need to consider what those individuals are like.
Yep.
What are they about? What can you expect so you don't get caught off guard? I started to actually meet different celebrities and stuff, take pictures with individuals that was linked in. So the Spirit came to me and told me that, and that's when I started researching Hollywood. Especially back in the day, bro. YouTube was crazy. Okay, around the time I first started coming in, bro, YouTube was crazy with all the truth exposing Hollywood. All you had to type in, you might be able to still be able to do it. Type in Hollywood exposed or hip hop industry exposed, music industry exposed. Okay, that's all the words you got to type in. You ain't gonna get the videos that we used to get back in the day, but you gonna get something. Okay, but that was this truth. The light, and our elders and apostles would expose this stuff too. In them old camp videos, they'll be exposing this stuff, okay? Letting the people know what was going on. And that's through the spirit of what you know, we've entered into their labors. All right? Go ahead.
It says, what are worthless and wicked people like? They are constant liars, signaling their deceit with a wink of the eye, a nudge of the foot, or the wiggle of fingers.
The wiggle of fingers. That's why these individuals too, they you know, which you think about, you know, on a low level, you know, the winking of the eye. If somebody's doing something, you know, trying to be sneaky in there, and you'll see them do it, they'll wink at you like, we in on this together type shit. You know,
Don't let nobody know.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
say
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. Like, shh, don't say nothing, don't say nothing. You know, that's some wicked shit.
Yep.
But also too, these individuals, they actually like take pictures and stuff where they close one eye. That's an Illuminati hand gesture, or they close one eye, or they put their hands in a certain position. Okay, the way they position their hands on their face, the way they position their hands in their suit, all these things are symbols showing you what they're about, showing you that, you know, those are, first of all, them speaking to each other. Okay, this is how they communicate with each other, showing you who's linked in. Okay,
They use signal words, and you know,
Right.
in interviews and
yeah, I
podcasts.
remember videos. It was a word that we use called gravy. You know, oh, that's just gravy. And basically that means when you come in and you get, you know,
Wow.
you get popped to get to the top. Oh, that's just gravy. You know, and that's how you get the gravy on your mashed potatoes, basically. You know, oh, that's just gravy. That's how you gotta get. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go that extra mile. You gotta play ball. Okay. But also too with these politicians, you find out with, you know, the Pizzagate and shit, how they had particular words like pizza or chicken or, you know, cupcake for certain code words for the wickedness they was doing, because they had to hide. They was hiding something. You know, they talk about the you know, the Hillary Clinton emails. You know, and in them emails they dissect them emails and finding certain words talking about, are we having a pizza party tonight? And on pizza parties are satanic ritual freak-offs, where they got underage individuals in there, okay? You know, weird stuff.
Yep.
So, how's it on that?
Nah, it goes on. It says, their perverted hearts plot evil.
They're
And-
plotting evil. Their perverted hearts plot evil. Go ahead.
It says, and they constantly stir up trouble.
They're constantly stirring up trouble. And these are not just the people that higher up, but even these low level niggas. If you're not in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, this is the spirit that you are in, whether you realize it or not. And it's important that we know this coming into these deadly times where these individuals are going to be unleashed. You know, they're all around us, you know.
Yep.
It's that darkness trying to consume the light. You know how if you got a light bulb and that light bulb start to go bad, it start to blink. It start to, you know, before it actually goes out, you know. That means the darkness consumed the light.
Yep.
Because it's a force between darkness and light. When the darkness consumes the light goes out, you see? And when light consumes the darkness goes out. Go ahead.
It says, their perverted hearts plot evil, and they constantly stir up trouble. But they will be destroyed suddenly, broken in an instant beyond all hope of healing.
Right, and the Lord gonna make that feel like forever. You know, when you get hit with that nuke, you know, it's overkill. You get hit with a nuke, but the Lord gonna make it feel like an eternity where you just burning, your spirit is stuck in your body. The Lord can stop time. He can slow down time. They showed you that with Quicksilver on X-Men. What happened when he was running, and then he came in, and
Everything stopped.
that
It slowed
explosion came right inside the house, and he had this. He was running so fast, time stopped. And as he ran into the house, people were just standing around frozen in time, but he was able to move and, you know, evacuate like 100 people out of a building while everybody was still frozen.
Yep. A
So-
second hasn't passed.
Yeah, a second hasn't passed.
Yeah.
You know, he's moving so fast. So the Lord can do that. He can slow down time where you're sitting in that nuke, and it could be 10 seconds and you through, but it's gonna feel like an eternity. That's what they call hell. That's hell, okay? So these individuals that's participating in this wickedness, that's what the Lord has set aside for you, whether you realize it or not. You think you're gonna die from old age or from a heart attack, you know, when you're 80. No, you're gonna die. Could be in the next, you know, year or so. Okay, next couple of months, if this thing the Lord really get the ball rolling.
Yeah. Or the Lord can give you early judgment. You know. Especially, you know, a lot of wicked ass Jake, bro. You know, the Lord just take your ass out. You just doing it, you know. The Lord's like, no, I just gotta do away with this nigga, man.
Hey, you know they say before you die, your life flashes before your eyes. You know, and individuals that when they face that nuke, their life gonna flash before their eyes. You gonna have time for your life to flash before your eyes. Showing all the wickedness that you was doing. You know, so that means you're gonna have time to feel that fire, feel that flame, the wrath of Yahweh Bashim Shai, which is poured out without mixture. There is no, you're gonna get complete wrath.
Yeah.
Okay. Stick your finger in fire, or burn yourself on the stove and imagine that all over your body, times a billion. Your spirit just stuck. All right, that was it on that.
Come on.
Let me play some more of this and we'll get ready to close out. It's a lot.
Gesture. That is a Thelema hand gesture done during sex magic rituals. On top of this, in the
that's
religion
the rock.
Thelema, they claim that love is the law, love under will, which is basically the
Brother love.
Diddy was participating in these sex rituals with Cassie. Now, Diddy has been telling the world he's a part of the Thelema religion for a while now. Every time you see him taking pictures, doing this hand gesture, that is a Thelema hand gesture done.
Look at that. This whole thing with Tory Lanez and DDG, they're talking about the Rock Nation did it, Rock Nation did it. That's the Rock. They throwing up the Rock, okay? These are all satanic individuals. That's all linked in, okay? So they have you at a concert throwing up the Rock.
Waving your hands.
Waving your hand. Wave them like you just don't care.
Every time you worshiping these damn devils, man.
What the hell? What the hell? Wave them like you just don't care. Throw the rock up. Throw the rock
all
up.
in the same motion. Oh my God.
Bro, the Lord finna kill these niggas, man. That's the same shit they had people throwing up at the Jay-Z parties, man. Beyonce on the stage. Anybody who was Rihanna. Anybody who was connected to that Rock Nation label, bro. Fucking, what's her name? Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They be throwing the rock up.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking about this. It was like, because Tory Lanez just got stabbed up. And this is literally happened around the same time the whole thing with DDG just happened.
Right.
You know, so they coming at their ass all at once.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
You know, Deshae was talking about it on his stream, which I want to do a video on that.
Yeah.
I'll go into it soon. But
Deshae
Deshae was talking about it on his stream, and he turned the lights off. He told everybody to turn their phones off. And he started talking about that shit, because these motherfuckers, they know. All right, but he said, man, it's the Illuminati, man. Haley, the Illuminati, you know, DDG woman, she Illuminati. And then he was showing on stream how, as he on stream, hundreds of thousands of people watching this individual, somebody delivered him a bottle of Don Julio.
Oh my goodness.
And he asked everybody in the house, did y'all order Don Julio? Bro, swear to God, did you order Don Julio? Nah, bro, I didn't order, nah. And it was a big bottle.
You know what's crazy?
No, hold on. It was a big bottle, bro. It's about a big bottle of Don Julio. You know how expensive Don Julio is?
Yo, that shit's fucking crazy, bro.
So this nigga's on live stream talking about The Rock, Jay-Z and them, and what happened? Before he did it, he had to lock the door. He turned the lights out. He turned his phone off, He turned his phone off. And he go to talking about it while you're talking in front of hundreds of thousands of people. And then, however long it took in the live, while he was still in the live, somebody delivered, he's sitting right by the door, somebody delivered a bottle of Don Julio. And he said, yeah, everybody in the house, did you order? No, I mean, they watching, bro. But one thing that Tory Lanez did, reason why they're going after Tory Lanez and DDG right now was DDG came against the men of the Lord. So fuck that nigga.
Yeah.
But the reason why they're coming against those individuals, which, you know, with Tory Lanez, he just got stabbed up after his lawyers and shit just found more evidence that he was innocent. So after this evidence come out, all of a sudden he gets stabbed up 14 times in prison. They stabbed him all in the back of the head. They was trying to kill him. They said, we didn't kill this nigga before he, you know, They'll lock your ass up and you be innocent if you know, once you play ball and you want to play ball with them.
Yep.
They will lock you up. You be innocent, tell you they ain't gonna let you out until you know, take this deal. Tupac said he did that. He said he got locked up. There's about 5 or something years like that. And he said it came to him. That's why he's when he signed to Suge Knight. Suge Knight bailed him out for $1 million. They said he had to sign the shit. He had to sell his soul in that cell. If you want to see the and that's how they trap you up in these snares. Okay? But DDG and Tory Lanez had just came out with a song. Okay? And it was exposing Jay-Z and how they railroaded his ass. Do you know that Tory Lanez's lawyer, his lawyer that was supposed to be defending him, she ended up leaving the case. And when she left the case, this bitch went in and made a show, and all the show is named. Every episode on the show is named after one of Biggie's songs. I mean, not Biggie, Jay-Z's songs. Showing you they're all linked in. It's a network of demonicness, a den of freaks. All right, let's play some more.
During sex magic rituals. On top of this, in the religion Thelema, they claim that love is the law, love under will, which is basically the credo of the organization. Now you should remember that Diddy changed his name to Love. This is a direct reference to Thelema. Diddy is referring to love is the law, love under will. It's why he released an entire album called the Love Album. All of it was Diddy secretly showing the world that he was an occultist into sex magic. These parties weren't just about fulfilling Diddy's disturbing desires. They were rituals done with a specific purpose. According to Cassie, Diddy was having her do this multiple times a week for several years. Cassie claims she wasn't able to quit because Diddy would film these rituals and then use them against her, claiming that he would release them if she stopped. The reason occultists participate in these sex rituals is because they believe it'll help them enter a higher spiritual realm.
Hey, you see, and that's what happened with Cassie. She was an artist. She was a a singer. So she figured in order to get ahead, she had to get with Diddy. And then she got trapped in that vicious cycle of evil and wickedness, those rituals. And she couldn't get out. Before you know it, you ain't hear no music coming out from her.
No.
You ain't hear nothing about the music from Cassie, man. She had a very, very popular song back in the day, but you know, since she got with Diddy, you ain't hear no music coming from her. Why? Because that's what she had to do. It started with her trying to get a position, and then before you know it, she was, you know, he'll give you a certain amount of money, and you can just live off of that, being a freak.
Them in contact with higher spiritual entities. They believe these rituals allow them to communicate with these entities who grant them forbidden knowledge. These occultists will then use this forbidden knowledge to achieve whatever they want. Many inventors, artists, and actors all do these same sex rituals in order to contact these deities and use them for their work. Artists will use these deities to write his songs. Inventors will use these rituals to come up with the answers to their invention.
Hey, there's a show called Evil. Very posh show. You gotta watch that show. I can do videos on that show all fucking day. All right? Because it shows you a lot. But it's about these exorcists, that's dealing with demons and stuff. But in that show, they had one episode where you had this guy, which was like their therapist. He wanted to be a writer. He wanted to write a book. And people buy it. So he said how they showed him how he had to do a certain ritual. A demonic ritual. And once he did that demonic ritual, it literally showed a demon. Like he went to sit down to write, and a demon's hand appeared and was writing through his hand. And like a demon's hand took his hand and started writing for him. And then he made this book or whatever, and it started selling out. People was buying it left and right. So these individuals, when they sell out like this, they, which that's what the movie Sinners was about too.
Yep.
The individual, that was the musician in the movie. It was an actual story about a guy like that, who went down to the crossroads, and met the devil. And he couldn't play for shit, but then he learned how to play after he met the devil. The devil was playing that guitar for him. Jimi Hendrix was talking about that too, how, it said about Jimi Hendrix, when he would play that guitar, it was a spirit on him when he was playing that guitar, showing you that he sold out. So really it'd be these demons that's playing these guitars and writing these songs. And on stage, when Beyonce was on stage, going back to the Rock Nation, when Beyonce is on stage, she told you she was Sasha Fierce. Bitch, who the fuck is Sasha and who is Fierce? Okay, that's a demon. Go look at them pictures of Beyonce when she performing. She looks completely different. Her face is all contorted, throat all big, eyes all black. She dance, she's shaking her head. She, she doing she got possessed by a whole demon. And that demon is showing out on stage. That demon is dancing before you on stage while the beehive, her fans, are down there worshiping it. Worshiping it. Worshiping it. You see? This isn't rocket science. We're breaking it down to you in the most, plainest way we can and let you know these motherfuckers are wicked. That's what's going on. When you go to a concert, you're in the middle of a ritual. The whole show is a ritual. And when the person who you were going there to see, they're pretty much there to allow a demon to work to flow through them, so that demon can get that praise and worship.
Actors do these rituals to allow the entities to take over them and use them for their acting roles. This is the secret of the highest degree in Masonry. This is what is taught in the 33rd degree. How to utilize sex magic to be able to communicate with these entities. Many people think Cassie was complicit in all of this because she wanted money. Part of this is true. Cassie wanted to be a successful artist. She saw Diddy as the man who could make that happen. But it appears Diddy had other plans for her, using her to perform.
Diddy had other plans for her. But look who Diddy with on the screen. This is why this guy stepped down. This guy stepped down from his church because he done got found out. They know that they gonna be mentioning him in them court cases.
Yep.
All these individuals, LeBron James, they all gonna get exposed as weeks go on, as in this case go on, man. This is somebody's pastor. Your parents probably listen to this individual. Watch his sermons on Sunday. Have him playing all through the house. And this guy is a freak, man. TD Jakes, this guy's a freak. They're all freaks. Okay? It's a sick world we living in. Where you got wicked ass niggas portraying themselves as men of the Lord. And the whole world believes it.
From these sex magic rituals. And it's the same thing that happens to many of these upcoming celebrities that enter.
Why that nigga always got them shades on, man?
His eyes pitch black. It's a demon, man.
You got demons on them. He don't want you, because they say the eyes are the window to the soul. So he don't show you his eyes very often because you're going to see the demons on his ass. He up there with TD Jakes throwing up that sign. TD Jakes smiling from ear to ear.
They think that these executives want to help them make it to the next level, when in reality, they're either trying to initiate them or use them for their rituals. From what it appears, Cassie was just like many other celebrities who got brought into that life when they were trying to make it big. She was willing to do anything to make it, and that's what Diddy had her doing for her spot in the industry. I believe Diddy also did these rituals with people like J-Lo, and I believe she's continuing to use these rituals in her life till today. J-Lo's ex-husband exposed her for using witchcraft and performing rituals for her success. Jennifer was married to Ojani back in 1998, right before she was with Diddy. Ojani even claims that Jennifer cheated on him with Diddy. More importantly, Ojani exposed something about Jennifer that most people don't know, that she's into black magic and witchcraft. According to Ojani, J-Lo is deep into Santeria, which is similar to voodoo. He claims that J-Lo was extremely serious about Santeria, and he was as well at one point. Ojani claims that he and Jennifer had a black magic godmother, that J-Lo even performed a Santeria ritual to be granted the Selena movie role, the movie role that changed her life. J-Lo started dating Ojani back in the mid-90s and ended up marrying him in 1998. He was actually her first husband and was with her before she became a massive star. He was exposed to Santeria after he started dating J-Lo. He claimed that after they broke up, because J-Lo was cheating on him with Diddy, he and J-Lo went to see their Santeria spiritual leader, who he called the Godmother. This is where he claims that J-Lo participated in sacrifices to the gods in order to cleanse herself of Diddy. According to Ojani, he saw J-Lo do a blood rebirth ritual where she bathed in chicken blood until she was covered in it from head to toe. He then...
J-Lo.
Man.
Yeah. The one you want to be with. All right, the one who been on everybody in the industry. Why she had to cleanse herself from Diddy? Because she was doing the same shit. Okay, she was doing the same shit. This is what all these individuals do to get to the top. They showed you in that show, when we was talking about The Boys.
Yep.
You know, the Starlight character. That's the spirit. I was looking at the frankincense before we started, and it said Starlight. and I'm going into Starlight. It's all the spirit. All right, but Starlight character, she wanted to be a superhero. Her mom, set her up her whole life to be a, a part of the Seven, they called it in the show, which was like a group of superheroes that was like the main superheroes, and she pretty much, the guy she had to interview with was this guy named the Deep in the show, and he made her give him a fellatio in order to get on the team, But it was, they showed you that in the show, but this is what shit is really about. The black casting couch. Okay? Let me bring this out real quick. It says, Matthew chapter 16, verse 26, for what is it profited if a man shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Which that word soul, when you go into it, let's grab it. All right? What is it profit if you shall gain the whole world and lose your own soul? That's what these people are doing. They're losing their soul. All right?
That's why their eyes are so pitch black, man. They have no more light in their eyes, man.
Yeah, when you go into this word soul, it means life.
Yeah.
That in which there is life.
So they don't have their life anymore, man. All right?
They dead.
They're dead. All right? You got, the wicked elites controlling them. They can't do whatever they want, say whatever they want. Everything's monitored.
It says, if you lose your own life, mind, soul, you get completely corrupted, man.
Yeah.
That's these individuals. So they end up, doing these particular rituals and doing these particular sex acts to get ahead, and they losing their own life because you're going to end up being destroyed with these individuals. Okay? Let me stop and bring it back. It says, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? And these individuals, they give up, their rear end. Okay? Kanye sacrificed his mother. Okay? Michael Jordan sacrificed his father. All right? These guys are actually doing all type of sacrifices and stuff to get ahead, to stay in that world. Matthew chapter 16, verse 26. And what do you benefit? It's in the NLT. So and what do you benefit if you gain the whole world? All the cars, money and the clothes, cars and the hoes. What do you benefit if you gain all that? That's why you see them with all these diamond chains on and stuff. Yeah, they got their heart's desire. You ain't never got to look at the price again. But what do you really gain? Okay, besides a guaranteed destruction. It says, what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Is anything worth more than your soul? So you would sell out, you would completely, give up your whole integrity and morals just for some fame, and you think that's worth your soul? You think that's worth you being able to look yourself in the mirror? You to be able to sleep at night? You to be able to live with yourself?
They're miserable, man. Because they become miserable because once you get all those things, it becomes old. It's like you didn't experience everything. Now you're bored and you're tired of everything, and you still got to give your rear end over to Esau, man. And he was like, damn, what's the point of this, man? And that's why Jake, they in their songs, they always talking about how they wish, how everything was better before they got famous and before they got rich.
Right. Because they still had their soul.
Yeah.
They still had their life, man. They were still in their right mind. These individuals have to literally prostitute themselves to get their next gig. Okay? They gotta prostitute themselves. You know how you go to a job and you gotta apply? Or when you go in these movie roles, you gotta apply for these particular roles. You gotta audition out. Who's to say when you go to audition, they say, hey, you got this role right now. You do this, that, and the third. Motherfuckers do it. Okay? Motherfuckers do it, bro. Bro, that shit is real. Okay? Yeah, how about Shimei Oshai? He's really exposing these individuals in these last days to show you, like, these motherfuckers ain't who they portray to be on TV. And if you really knew these individuals, you will understand that. It says, for the Son of Man will come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and will judge all people according to their deeds. The Lord is about to judge everybody according to their deeds. Whatever you've done in this life, you about to get a reward for it. And I tell you the truth, some standing here right now will not die before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. You got elect, you know, that's on this earth. That's not, because you might think, man, we all gonna die. Everybody gonna die. No, you got some standing here that's serving Yahweh that's not gonna taste of death, man. Okay, that's not gonna die. But we're gonna literally see, Lord, when we be those men, we're gonna see these individuals die. You know, the Lord's showing you the signs, and you know, with these forest fires, Hollywood on fire and shit. You think that's all, you know, a coincidence? No, that's the Lord exposing what he's about to do before he do it. See.
Claims that she was washed off with holy water and patted with herbs. This is what I believe he was referring to. All of these big celebrities are into this. The Lima is the secret religion of Hollywood. The Lima at its core.
Said the Lima is the secret religion of Hollywood. All right, so these are all these individuals. They go up there talking about God and Jesus, but them motherfuckers ain't all in a secret religion when they doing wickedness. Okay, they're doing wickedness, man. They doing all type of filth. All right, and it's the Lord that's exposing it in these last days, because he's about to completely consume this place. All right, it says that what does it say? Uncover the thigh. Grab that Bible, Kasha. We'll close out with that.
Alchemy and Luciferianism, ancient occult practices that these occultists use to become God. Understand that Diddy isn't the only one doing this. Kanye is also into these same practices. Kanye is also into sex magic, and that's why we see him doing the things he does today. Kanye and Diddy were close, and it's because they both participated in these disturbing rituals, and so did Jay-Z. Aleister Crowley is seen as a god in Hollywood. He's the one that taught Hollywood about sex magic. All of these artists you see sending love and admiration to Crowley are into sex magic. That also goes for Ab-Soul. Ab-Soul made an entire album about Crowley, calling it Do What Thou Wilt.
But the name of the album was the same, Do What Thou Wilt, which to me brought me to Aleister Crowley. And you know who Aleister Crowley is, right? And he was a magician, a poet.
This is Ab-Soul. He's on Kendrick Lamar's record label. He's on Kendrick Lamar's record label. They've done songs together. Kendrick Lamar and Ab-Soul. Who just performed at the Grammys? Kendrick. Who just won all, performed at the Super Bowl. Who just won all them Grammys? Kendrick. And look what his boy into.
And he was also linked to Satanism. Yeah. In ways. And so what made you decide, what does that mean to you when you decide to name your project that?
Well, you know what? You're the first one to bring up the Satanism, and I'm so glad that you did, because you know it's all church with me.
Yeah.
Know that. So, Do What Thou Wilt immediately sounds like free will. Aleister Crowley has been influential throughout music and entertainment and ideology, philosophy. Albums based on that quote, "Do What Thou Wilt," which is in the book, one of his books, the Book of the Law. And love is the law. Love is the only law. I respect that, because my main thing is ain't nothing wrong with a righteous man, correct?
Yeah.
So I really admire this guy. Well, I mean, but
I really admire this guy.
Is, are you signing your name on the dotted line? Are you signing your soul away? No, yeah, that's what he's saying.
That's what we just read. Did we not just read that?
Look at his hands.
You see, they play it, they dance around it, but they know they all, this is what they all a part of. What they all a part of. They all know it. Oh, he trying like he don't know. Nigga, you know what the fuck they talking about. Y'all doing the same thing. And now it's coming out.
Respect that, because my main thing is ain't nothing wrong with a righteous man, correct?
Yeah.
So I really admire this guy. Well, I mean, but
see, what he's saying is, are you signing your name on the dotted line? Are you signing your soul away? No, yeah, that's what he's saying.
Are you in the Illuminati?
I mean, What you think?
I know, but you know,
As you can see, this
What
is
you
what
think?
Crowley was really about. Crowley taught his followers about all of these rituals, literally not only telling people to use man fluid like Diddy is doing, but also using blood in the same way. Crowley even instructed his followers to even eat man fluid as it would further their ecstasy. It's not a coincidence that Diddy changed his name to Love and dropped the Love album right before this all happened. He was out here doing these rituals the entire time. It's all connected to sex magic. Remember Jonathan Odie? He was just brought up in his trial and confirmed to be one of the freak-off escorts. He claimed Diddy, Khaled, and Ross were all gay and a part of the Bolay secret society.
James and Ross, which are good buddies, okay? They're gay.
They're gay.
Two, both, Diddy and Ross, and Khaled. They're all gay.
It said Diddy, Rick Ross, and Khaled, DJ Khaled. I just seen the video on the fucking line of DJ Khaled and Drake smoking a blunt together. I think it was an old man. It might have been an older video. Maybe it was newer. I don't know. I don't care. Them niggas are gay. Okay? Them niggas are gay. The way he said it, they're gay. Okay? They're really fucking gay. Alright? And they put on this persona like they this, that, and the third, but, you know, Lord is exposing all this in these last days.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boulay. The Boulay is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
All of these men are a part of the Lima.
You got a video of these niggas kissing too, on stage, and people were just acting like it was nothing. But the Boule is a black faction of the Freemasons. Okay, that's the black side of it, with all your Jay-Z's, all your black celebrities, and more than likely your 501c3s. All right, TD Jake's in there. You know, you reach a certain higher level, a upper echelon, where you get into the rooms with these individuals. Y'all have pacts and secrets y'all, you know, keep together. Niggas be out here beefing like they hate each other online for entertainment, for, you know, for the ratings, but the whole time they really meeting up behind closed doors and participating in sexual acts. In these freak-offs, in these meetings, in these parties.
All of them participate in these sick, disturbing rituals.
What I
This
just
is the
said.
truth about Hollywood the media isn't going to tell you. This is why I advise you guys to stop idolizing these people. Look at what these people are really up to behind the scenes. It's disgusting. I'm going to keep my eyes on this trial and continue to provide you guys with the important information. Things that the media are going to try to cover up because they work for the elite who participate in these sick rituals. Well, that's it for this video. I want to
Yeah, he
thank you all.
said things that the media is going to try to cover up. These people try to cover this stuff up. They don't want this stuff to come out. They'll try to cover it up, act like, you know, it never existed, you know, and the Lord is exposing it. He's breaking it out. He's having it come out. There's a reason why this stuff keep coming up, man, because the Lord is like, hey, look at this. And he's telling his prophets that, hey, speak on this. You got Jakes that, you know, talking shit about Hebrew Israelites right now, but they don't realize how real it is, and the things that we telling you is happening. And they might come across a video looking for this type of shit and end up finding the truth. You know? Find out why is that going on? Why is that happening? What's, you know, you got niggas still trying to make music, still trying to be a rapper. You got niggas that would have did anything that you know, to rub shoulders with Diddy. You know? Or individuals like him. Okay, going to these particular shows, standing outside, you know, waiting for them to get out of their car, you know, trying to give them your damn demo tape. Through. It's a deep pit, and you don't want to get caught in it. All right, you don't want to get stuck. Come back to Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, repent, man. You got that precept? Go ahead.
This is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 3. It says, you will be naked. Actually, verse 2. Salaki.
Go on the KJV first.
This is Isaiah chapter 47 verse 2. It says, take the millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers.
The Lord is uncovering these devils. He's exposing them. And like I said early in the lesson, this ain't just unto Americans. This is to the whole world. The whole world is being showed, you know, what these devils are doing over here in America, man. Okay, and that's infuriating these other nations to say, you know what, these motherfuckers are sick. Let's just burn them. And they're going to feel righteous in doing it because that's what you're doing to a harlot. You know? If your daughter played the harlot, she got burned, you know? A witch was getting burned at the stake. You know, shall not suffer a witch to live. You doing all these rituals and shit. Some of these nations like, yo, they still uphold those ancient customs. So they gonna feel emboldened by God to take your ass out. And by, you know, talking about America as a whole. Go ahead.
It says, you want me to get an NLT?
That was it?
Yeah, that was it on that.
Yeah, grab an NLT.
It says, Isaiah 47
That's why
verse
I
2 in the
advise you guys
NLT.
to stop.
It says, take heavy millstones and grind flour. Remove your veil and strip off your robe. Expose yourself to public view.
That's right. And the Lord is exposing this place to public view. Okay? To public. That's why there is a court case. That's why everything in that court case is going to be public. Because the Lord is exposing this place, not just Diddy, but America as a whole, into public view before the whole world to see. And the whole world is watching. The whole world is watching what's going on over here. And like I said, they're going to get embodied or emboldened with the spirit of burning this place. They're going to press them buttons, man. And they ain't going to feel no wrong in doing it because when they hear about what's going on over here. Okay? It's just filth. All right, but that's the point. You want to close out for us?
You know, so hey, Lord willing, that lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in. Once again, I want to give the bonus to elders and apostles, a great millstone who teach them well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. I want to give all praises and glory and honor to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, HaKadosh.
Shalom, Akim.
Shalom.